How can I fight for child visitation and my parental rights without a lawyer? No one is required to hire a lawyer to represent him or her in a child custody dispute. If you are involved in a termination of parental rights or child abuse case, as opposed to a divorce or child custody dispute with the other parent, some jurisdictions will provide you with a court-appointed attorney if you cannot afford to hire an attorney yourself. I do not know of any jurisdiction that provides a parent with a court-appointed attorney in divorce or child custody disputes with the other parent, and Utah is no exception. But you are permitted to proceed on your own, representing yourself in Utah. This is known as proceeding pro se or pro per or in propria persona. In your court case, you can proceed that way. You are not required to hire an attorney or to be represented by an attorney in the court proceedings. As to the question of how can I fight effectively for visitation and to protect my parental rights without a lawyer, that is an altogether different matter. Proceeding pro se is, for the overwhelming majority of people, very difficult. The courts usually do not treat pro se litigants differently from lawyers. They are both held to the same rules and procedures, whether you understand those rules and procedures or not. Most people cannot learn the rules and procedures, let alone learn to apply them properly and effectively, and still go about their regular lives. Some will tell you about unbundled and limited scope legal services as a cost-effective alternative to hiring a lawyer on a full-time basis. Unbundled and limited scope legal services are what their names denote. Limited, as opposed to full representation of a client, for specific services or assistance of the attorney to reduce the cost of legal services. It sounds like a great idea, but in practice it often results in wasting money on services and assistance that don't do enough for the client, throwing good money after bad. Don't get me wrong, even if the attorney scrupulously does everything he or she contracted to do on an unbundled or limited scope services basis, it's not what was done that often results in failure when success could have otherwise been achieved. Still, you have nothing to lose by exploring whether you can find an unbundled or limited scope arrangement that you can afford and that meets your needs. Some jurisdictions allow non-lawyers, specifically licensed paralegals or technicians, to provide limited scope legal services and representation in divorce. Again, Utah is no exception. It actually has such offerings. This option suffers from the same shortcomings, however, of having unbundled or limited scope services provided by lawyers, except that non-lawyers are typically less knowledgeable than lawyers. It's not true for everybody. Still, you have nothing to lose by exploring whether you can find an unbundled or limited scope arrangement that you can afford and that meets your needs. There are many jurisdictions that provide legal forms to help non-lawyers represent themselves. Some jurisdictions' forms are better than others. Utah's are actually quite good. There are also online and AI-powered platform generation sites of varying costs, quality, and value. Buyer beware. If I needed legal services and didn't have the money to pay a good attorney for his or her services, I would see whether the attorney I wanted to help me would allow me to trade my goods, or if I don't make things, my services, if I provide a valuable service, for this attorney's value. Does the attorney need yard work done, need his or her house repainted, windows replaced or cleaned, office parking lot snowplowed, need a party catered? You get the idea. It may not offset all of the cost of the attorney's fees, but it might help make them affordable when you don't have enough cash on hand.